Hody Jones debuted on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global on the 21st of June 2017, following the successful release of the Straw Hats reuniting at Sabaody Archipelago. As they made their way down to Fishman Island, a new batch emerged to highlight and showcase the new Fishman Pirates. The characters in this batch included characters such as Dosun, Zio, Daruma, Ikaros, as well as Hyozo, and the Sugo-Fest exclusive character of the batch aimed to give the Powerhouse class a fresh perspective by allowing them to speedrun quests through heavy cooldown reduction at the cost of the crew's survivability. A character that lacked a bit of a punch on release eventually saw increased usage once their super evolution came around, which made this character the go-to captain for speed farming adventures. Introducing Hody Jones. In this series, we'll be traveling back in time to experience some of the older Sugo-Fest exclusive characters in their prime, aiming to show just what it was like to use these characters on their debut. I hope you enjoy the video, and without further ado, let's enter the Legends of OPTC. Thank you very much for making it to another episode of the Legends of OPTC series, and in today's video we're going to be covering a brand new legend, which was a character that had never had his own release in the game yet. This was the first iteration of the character in the game, and that's going to be Hody Jones and the new Fishman Pirates. So let's go ahead and break down this brand new rare recruit batch, starting things off with Dosun, a strength powerhouse striker character, and you'll see a theme with this batch is that they're all powerhouse centric. This entire batch was basically aimed to make the powerhouse class a little bit better, even though this class was kind of interesting in the fact that, you know, the characters were okay, but it was more of the other characters that were releasing around Hody Jones that made this batch already good. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But anyways, this unit with the captain ability boosted the attack of Powerhouse by 3.25, following the chain of Good, Great, and Perfect. I mean, you would never use this if you have Log Luffy. Log Luffy is just a better version of this, of course. And then his special ability on a 15-turn cooldown would change Recovery, Tandem, Empty Block, and Bomb slots into either Strength, Dex, Quick, Psi, or Int slot. So he basically allows you to just generate type slots for your team, but then he also boosts the attack of Powerhouse characters and the orbs of Powerhouse characters by 1.5 times for one turn. So if you calculate it together, it ends up being a 2.25 times boost cumulatively between all of these different buffs. So an interesting unit, but unfortunately Dosun didn't really see that much play. Next we have is Zio. Now on the release of this batch, this was the best rare recruit of the batch because obviously it worked really well with the other Powerhouse characters, but the good thing about Zio is that he worked in almost any team. He was like a rainbow-ish unit that was just generically very good. So Zio is Int Powerhouse Striker once again. Captain ability would boost the attack of Int by 2.25 and 20% damage reduction. Pretty terrible captain. But then his special on a 10-turn cooldown makes Perfects easier to hit, locks your slots, and locks the chain multiplier at 2.5 times for one turn. So chain lock and orb lock in a special that was just generically good. As I said, you know, this could be used in a lot of different teams that would just allow you to get a 2.5 chain lock, just carry orbs over multiple different stages. Zio was just a really good unit moving forward. The next rare recruit is Daruma, who is also a pretty decent rare recruit character. Dex, Powerhouse Fighter. Captain ability would reduce the cooldown of all specials by 4 turns at the start of the fight. However, he's only providing a 1.5 times attack boost to Powerhouse and Fighter, but -4 cooldown at the start of the fight for the whole team is pretty crazy. And his special ability, 15-turn cooldown, would reduce paralysis and special bind by 2 turns, and also cut the health of each enemy, of only one enemy should I say, by 10%, and then a 1.75 times Powerhouse attack booster. This is a pretty good special on release because, you know, obviously utility wasn't very common, and the fact that this character could provide a piece of utility for you. Paralysis removal was pretty rare, and this character provided that on top of being an attack booster. And of course later on with the support effect, a very usable support effect at level 3 and also at level 5. The Daruma is a really nice character to get a hold of for sure, and definitely made Powerhouse characters better. Ikaros is next in line, and he is a Psi Powerhouse Striker character with a captain ability of boosting both Powerhouse and Striker by 1.6. If you have a character that has both of those classes, you get the 2.56 bonus. And then the special ability at a 15-turn cooldown would reduce the crew's current health by 50%. However, it gives you a 1.5 times powerhouse orb boost and boost the attack against delayed enemies by 1.5 times for 1 turn. So, you know, seeing a little bit of conditional boosting here. I mean, orb and conditional boost, pretty rare for a character back in 2017. Not a bad unit, but wasn't like the best unit ever for sure. But there were some niche uses where Ikaros was a really nice unit to have. And then the final rare recruit before we get to Hody is going to be Hyozo, being a quick powerhouse slasher. Captain ability would boost slashers by 2.5 and the HP of powerhouse by 1.25, bringing back some legend cracker vibes with that kind of captain ability. And then the special would make perfect just harder to hit for 1 turn. Don't know why he would do that, but if you use this in tandem with Zio, where one makes it harder to hit, one makes it easier to hit, they basically cancel each other out. But then he changes all type slots into matching for your powerhouse characters, and then delays all enemies for 1 turn and recovers 20% of the crew's max health. So if you take all of the information that I just told you about the batch, you can understand why this character makes sense. Being able to change the type slots from Dosun into matching, being able to delay the enemies to get the conditional boost from Ikaros' special, and then obviously this to counteract the Zio effect as well, and as well as the 20% of health recovery is just really good for the batch. At a 15-turn cooldown, it made sense with the batch, but outside of the batch, this was just not a very useful unit in a lot of cases, unfortunately. So that is Hyozo, that's all of the brand new rare recruits, but now let's go ahead and talk about Hody Jones. So Hody Jones was an int powerhouse shooter character with a captain ability that would reduce the cooldowns of powerhouse by 1 at the start of the quest, reducing the crew's health by 10% at the end of each turn. Big drawback there, as well as boosting the attack of powerhouse by 3 times as long as there are 6 powerhouse characters in your crew. However, he does also boost the HP of your powerhouse characters by 2 times depending on how many powerhouse characters are in your crew. So as long as you have a full team of 6, you'll be able to get the 3 times attack and the 2 times health to your powerhouse units. So it makes sense to have that much health boost considering you're losing 10% health at the end of every turn. And if you are running double Hody Jones, it's a 10% plus a 10%, which actually equates to around a 19% health cut. So you're losing a lot of health at the end of each turn, but you do start at a very high threshold, right? And it makes healing specials incredibly useful, right? We already saw that, you know, the rare recruit Hyozo would heal 20% of your crew's max health. Rare recruit Marco, the Psy one, would be a full heal. He's also a powerhouse character. And then you also have a character like Legend Marco, for example, who would provide a very good heal to your crew as well as giving you an orb boost. All of these really good powerhouse characters were very useful for Hody Jones back when this guy first came out. Also, this character was very centered around speed farming mechanics. However, on initial release, only providing -1 cooldown at the start of the quest wasn't the best, honestly. It really wasn't. But of course, after expansion gets -2 with the Super Evolution, it goes even deeper than that. But, you know, on initial release, -1 cooldown wasn't really the most ideal way to use the character. But either way, the special ability of the unit was actually multi-staged, with obviously being better at stage 2. Stage 1 was a bit of damage, and it also ignores all damage negating abilities and barriers, so guaranteed damage is always nice. And then reducing the cooldowns of powerhouse characters by 1, and 60% damage reduction for 1 turn. Makes sense with the unit. You're losing so much health in this quest that having a damage reduction effect is very useful, actually, and we may actually see that in today's video as to why that is going to be useful. But stage 2 is even better because you get even more damage, and then you get -2 cooldown to your powerhouse characters and 90% damage reduction for 1 turn. So it is unfortunate that his special doesn't really provide damage boosting effect, because it would have been nice if it did, but the fact that it still provides some kind of effect that's going to be useful if you do opt to use him as a captain is very nice. And if you do use him as a crewmate, it's really good because he resists special reverse and stuff like that. But of course, crewmate abilities didn't really come out at this point yet. I actually don't know exactly when crewmate abilities were released, but obviously when they did release, this character was very, very good. And then obviously gets a really good support later on down the line. But Hody Jones on initial release wasn't that good. He actually got so much better when he got that Super Evolution. When he did receive that Super Evolution, he was used in so much content to speed farm, obviously before the release of characters such as V1 Kaido, for example. But let's go ahead and see what kind of content we're going to be playing today. So today we have 3 pieces of content that we could potentially be taking on. We've got Colosseum Diamante, Colosseum Mark Vice, and then Clash Fujitora. I think all 3 of these are going to be exceptionally difficult just due to the nature of Hody Jones. So I'm excited to see what we're actually going to be playing today. Let's go ahead and spin that wheel a couple times, and let's see what we're going to be challenging today. Hopefully we can have a team that can get the job done. and it's gonna be Coliseum Mark Vice. This is a very difficult Coliseum, especially for Hody Jones. So I am kind of worried about it, but I am also kind of excited to see how he does deal with this Coliseum. So let's go ahead and jump into the game and get a team built. But let's go ahead and get straight into it. If you guys did this poll as well, make sure to let me know what you guys got. But let's hope for Hody Jones or just something new, really. Let's see what we get. It's a red! It's a red! Okay, what's it gonna be? Come on, let's see. Hody. Yes! 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 Let's go! Let's go! Yes! Yes! Hody! Oh my god! Yes! Alright! Hody freaking Jones! One of my most wanted legends in the entire game, and we finally got him. Holy shit! We're back in game now with my man Hody Jones, new Fishman Pirates executive. The effect of the life-shortening energy steroids has changed his body greatly. His hatred for humans surpasses even Arlong's, causing him to attack even fellow fishmen who mingle with them. This ultimately led to the plot or coup in the Ryugu Kingdom. This is a pretty cool looking guy, and especially when he gets his super evolution, man, this guy just, his artwork looks great, and he just is an amazing looking character. Really cool unit, and I like the design of the unit too. However, in his regular 6-star form, it's a little bit different. I do think this unit in his base 6-star form is pretty bad. I am looking forward to using him today and just showing him off. But yeah, let's go ahead and show you guys the team that we're working with today, as we have Hody Jones with max special, 100 attack, 100 health candy, which is the typical way to use him back in the day. And also another typical way of using him was to not give him damage reduction sockets. Typically, you know, matching slots were still very useful for this character. But this is the team that we're bringing today against Coliseum Mark Vice. Now, this team, I really don't know if we're going to be able to get it done. We may have to shift things around a little bit. We may have to use some different strategies, but ideally, if we make it to the final stage, we should win, okay? But it's just about getting to that final stage, which may be difficult. But we are using a very new ship today, which is the Rocket Man. The Rocket Man was a ship that you could purchase from the Rayleigh's Bazaar at the time, where you could get a 1.55 attack boost, which was very strong. It also provided a bit of a health boost, and it also allowed you to heal. You could actually heal for a lot of health. I think it was like an additional 900. So if you have that, plus you have, you know, the auto healing sockets, you could heal for, you know, 1900 per turn, which was very good, and very good for Hody Jones specifically. And it does have a special as well, a little bit deep though. 17 turns for the ship special is a bit ridiculous, but it just does a bit of damage to the enemy, which is just generically good. This is definitely the best powerhouse ship at the time, and that's what we're going to be running today against this content. So I'm excited to jump into it. Let's go ahead and challenge Mark Vice. And shout out to my man TheLordShiro for putting up his Hody Jones. Greatly appreciate that one. Unfortunately, does have damage reduction, but I don't think it matters. Yeah, we've got level 3 matching slots anyway, so we're Gucci. We are good to go. I'm very nervous about this one because this is going to be pretty difficult for Hody Jones to take down, but I'm hopeful that we have enough to get over the line. So let's jump into it. Final round versus Mark Vice. And here we go. Remember that we do have -2 cooldown at the start of the quest due to the Hody Jones captain ability, and also due to our socket. So we actually start off with -4 cooldown to our characters. Very good back when he first released, but of course if you had Legend Sengoku, he could also be used to speed farm content back then too. Now remember that even though we have like 100,000 HP, we lose like 19% of it every single turn, so it's not going to be here for long, okay? Also, healing specials are very good, but I don't think we'll need it specifically, though we may have to adopt that strategy as we go towards the end of this quest here and see, you know, if we don't get the win. Now, we do still need to stall a little bit for some specials, which is, like, obviously not too difficult to do when you have, like, especially at the start of the quest, you know, a lot of these enemies just hit really hard, but because we have, like, 100,000 HP, like, it's not really going to worry if we have to take, you know, 2,000 damage, but later on in the quest, if we have to take hits, that's where things get a little bit sketchy, because, you know, if you've only got, like, 2,000 health, taking a bit of damage is going to be really, really scary. I don't really know how much damage we are going to be taking in terms of stall, but I want to make sure we have the Hody Jones special ready to go. I mean, even just stage 1 Hody Jones, I think that's pretty much all we need, but we definitely need to make sure that we have some of our other specials ready for like the final stage, because ideally the way that this team is structured is that if we reach the final stage, we should win. But the thing is we're not really activating that many specials before we reach the final stage, right? So it's going to be super scary, but the fact that we do have this Hody Jones to allow us to like just not allow us to stall, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, is that we don't actually have to stall as much, which is nice. But of course, when he super evolved, the additional cooldown that he provided with his captain ability was like just so good. We definitely don't need to stall anymore here, I don't think. So we are just going to pass on to the next stage here. Now, stage 3, who have we got here on stage 3? We have Virgo. Okay, let's see what Virgo does. I actually don't remember what this guy does. So he has an immunity buff, and he is going to attack us. I think I am going to use a Hody Jones special just to tank one of these hits here, because I don't know if he does like a huge chunk of damage on his first turn. So this, of course, is going to give us 60% damage reduction here. Here's the special animation of Hody Jones as well. He just throws some water at him, which is cool. Bit of cooldown reduction, bit of damage reduction, and we'll hit with Sanji last, and hopefully we get some good damage output. So here we go against Virgo. Okay, that was surprisingly easy. I was not expecting that to go that well. Alright, so stage 4 against Treble. Sticky Launcher. What does he do? He poisons us. Oh, that could be bad. But it's actually not that much. It's only 300 damage per person. Actually, okay. I am tempted to... No, I don't think we need to use a Hody Jones special. Oh, but then again, he is attacking us. No, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll use Hody Jones maybe on the next turn. Alright, let's go ahead and kill these guys. We do have 2 Psy units, so that's going to be good for us in terms of damage. Alright, let's just do some damage here and see what happens. Okay, these guys do not have that much health. Okay, so it's just Treble left. How much does he do? He does 3,900, so about 4,000. 4,000 damage. We got a recovery slot here, which we can eat. And we do actually, if we wait one more turn, we will get the Hody Jones stage 2 special, which will allow us to get 90% damage reduction. And remember that he gives -2 cooldown to powerhouse characters, which will make our friend captain special be almost ready once again. This is actually working out pretty well. So once again, we'll do some damage, and hopefully he doesn't do anything below certain health thresholds. I hope he doesn't. Otherwise, that could be quite deadly for us. I don't want to get him below 20%. I don't, oh, no. What do you do? Defense up. Oh, hopefully it's not too bad a defense. Okay, now we can use the Hody Jones special. This is the stage 2 special. As I said, 90% damage reduction and -2 cooldown. Okay. Now, hopefully we don't... that defense, I don't know how tanky he is with that defense. He is going to get below 20% on this turn. We have no matching slots on our side characters, and we do need all 4 of these specials on that final boss stage, because Mark Weiss is a bit tricky to deal with. Alright, here goes nothing. Okay, we can pierce that defense. Okay, thank God. Nice, we actually made it. Okay, I think we're Gucci. I was kind of shocked, actually. I was expecting that increased defense to be very, very tedious, but it actually wasn't. Alright, so now we've reached Mark Weiss, so we're finally here. I do think from here we should be good to go. So we're going to go ahead and launch the Fujitora special. Now the thing about it is that Mark Weiss actually reacts to our special here, which is kind of shitty, but luckily for us, we can activate another special and we won't have to worry about it, so it's fine. So he's going to go ahead and react, which will actually shuffle our slots into badly matching, but then by using the Pika special, all of our powerhouse characters' badly matching slots will be changed into matching. So this is going to be great for us. We get a bit of a health cut against him as well, which is extremely important. We can use the Sanji special, which is going to go ahead and give us the attack boost, which is great. And we still have the Kuma special, which is actually kind of nice. We could have used that a little bit later on, or we could have used it earlier in the fight, but we really didn't need it, to be honest. Okay. Well, without further ado, actually, let's launch the Hody Jones special, just in case, because you never know, that might be the difference. We'll launch the Hody Jones special. They give us a bit of damage reduction as well, bit of cooldown reduction, and hopefully we kill. All right, let's get it. Mark Mark Weiss, you're going down, buddy. Let's get it. Oh, this is plenty of damage. Plenty of damage. We still didn't even attack with the Kuma. Bruh. Dude, I was so worried heading into this because, you know, Mark Weiss, he was a bit challenging. I remember when he first came out, he was a bit tricky to deal with. But Hody Jones is packing that punch, you know? Damn, Hody, coming in strong. Let's get it. So with all of that, that is going to conclude today's Legends of OPTC video. Now, next week's episode is going to be a bunch of fun because we get to actually go ahead and use Striker Lore, V2 Lore, released right after Hody Jones. I think it was in August of 2017. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, on the release of Lore, not many of the good Striker characters had released at that point in time, but the Striker characters, they're on their way, and we're getting to that meta very, very soon. So V2 Lore is going to be next appearance in the Legends of the OPTC series. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today though, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.